Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called U.S. Homosexuals Soulless Win of 10 Pieces of Silver at the End of Days. U.S. Homosexuals Soulless win of 10 pieces of silver at the end of days. When we talk about the end of days, we also mean the end of days. That's D-A-Z-E. No one is in a daze anymore. We all know there are globalist, evil elitists that are hijacking the government. We all know that the Federal Reserve has been part of a cabal of bankers and gangsters on a global scale. We all know the Constitution is literally being ignored on all fronts and all levels. We all know people are disappearing. People are dying, scientists, whistleblowers. We all know that we have what you call what happened in Boston, in the Boston Marathon, where we have incidences for martial law to exert itself. We all know that the Supreme Court has been part of the banksters, glorified debt processors. So no one is in a daze. No one is in a daze. We really haven't been in the daze since Kennedy head was blown off. But since some whites wanted so much privilege and wanted their suburban homes and Subarus, they wanted to pretend they went back to sleep just to grab materialism at the expense of the world. You hear me? At the expense of the world and all evil being consented just so they can have their privilege on someone else's birthrights, non-consented to them, because the 14th been non-consented ever since its inception, and that's 1868. And it was sealed by 1870 with the 15th Amendment, Supreme Vote of Non-Consent Jurisdiction. Okay? So, we got all these so-called humans on two legs, and all they want to do, by 300 and 400 million, is fight over this black infant birthrights while they trample him to death in the cause they call equality. They don't care about this infant breathing. Just give me my equality of privilege and tell him he got to finance my lifestyle of homosexuality equality with his 14th. Even though I know I have nothing to do with his people who invested human capital for 400 years so he would have birthrights in the country of his birth. I'm coming as a foreigner, Britain, but I want homosexual rights in your country. I'm coming as a foreigner, Sweden, but I want homosexual rights in your country. I'm coming as a foreigner from four corners of the world, but France, Britain, Sweden, Europe, Belgium, but I want homosexual rights. I want homosexual rights due to me because I'm on your soil and I'm white, I tell you. Because we know damn well it ain't about the black ones. Because the black homosexuals in this country, it matches the same poverty and attritioning of income as any other black. So we know it's about white privilege in the guise of homosexual. And soon as this hijacked cabal Supreme Court started saying that DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, didn't matter in June, in the week of June the 20th, 2013, soon as they started saying DOMA didn't matter. The first thing they started hollering out, we get more privilege of money and federal benefits, which was all about anyway. The root of evil is the love of money. And for the love of money, these people who claimed that they couldn't help being homosexuals wanted to trample this black infant just one more time to decimate him for their 10 pieces of silver. The globalist evil cabal was willing to give them to do a full hijacking and for Satan to have his last stand to really try to spoil any kind of hope in America of God's sovereignty and God allegiance and the power of King Jesus in the minds of people. But it's spiritual warfare. This soulless win is just that, a soulless win. These homosexuals, 10 pieces of silver, thank God, is just a trap for Satan to harness their souls. To harness their souls at the last minute when no one can claim that they was in a daze as what going on. But you see how easy they side with evil for 10 pieces of silver? And that's what whites have been doing in this country since 1868, when they knew the 14th belonged to blacks. They went to court over and over again to look for any crooked judge that would give them their 10 pieces of silver. They didn't want to accept the 1873 of the slaughterhouse cases that was a Negroid amendment. But see, the slaughterhouse didn't even have to argue too much because they said it was part of the Reconstruction, and the argument didn't have to take place because it's a non-consented amendment. So what the globalist cabal is giving them is just done contracts of debt, and that's all these homosexuals got. A little bit more payoff for fiat money, 10 pieces of silver, to put them in permanent bondage of dung debt contracts. Whatever rich they say they are, these homosexuals are poverty contractors of desolation and abomination. They got fiat money because right now their father Satan is protecting them with their fiat money because their contracts are dung. If they didn't have their father Satan, they know they wouldn't have nothing. They know their allegiance is to their father Satan. They know they're nothing without their father Satan, because they know once he take that pacifier out their mouth, they don't have nothing but bondage and an abyss. And this is why the abyss holes and the sinkhole is opening them up all around them. The desolation of abomination is beginning to fall into the abyss all over the planet. All over the planet. You cannot win against God Almighty, for he controls the cosmic and the elements and the planets. Satan was given this little small sand called the earth, and Satan cannot even hold on to that. All his minions are nothing but bonders of debt and theft, and Satan will make sure he burns their soul for fodder, because that's all they are. So homosexual, enjoy your last minute consent to Satan and celebrations of satanic global, destruction for your little privilege and 10 pieces of silver, just so you can get that last minute trampling on this black infant baby back for your little last minute trinkets of a hijacked military that do nothing but rape soldiers when they go in there and leave our borders wide open for anybody to come in. So we know that everybody sees through you. Even the church bells now are showing that their allegiance was to Satan, because many church bells rang. The National Cathedral, which is non-consented, so I'll say a hijacker of the National Cathedral, a hijacker of these churches. They rang the bells in celebration of Satan's last stand of his homosexual push in the U.S. for those drones of hate and gore who will go along with it for their last minute 10 pieces of silver. Yeah, you're trapped, and we glad you showed you're willing to go along at the last minute when everyone know an evil cabal is offering you 10 pieces of silver. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.